Coming up on today's episode.
I don't get mad anymore with all these allegations because I know once you get to a certain status, you got to get your hands dirty to get to the next level. It's not on this finger, but on the next hand, it might be dirty. So it is what
So
it is. And then my second hot take,
I'm
I've
sorry. I'm
never.
sorry. I'm sorry. I gotta push back on that part only because again, I'm sorry. I gotta work.
It's because it's Tyler Perry.
No.
Are you ready to sit around the living room on the couches with the plastic on it like we used to back in the day? Well, welcome to the Melanin Movement, the spot where family, culture, and real talk all come together. We're your hosts, a family that's all about moving the culture forward by talking through, well, everything. This is where real talk happens, so let's get to it.
These faces are back. That's right. The Melanin Movement Family Podcast is back. We're not just a podcast. We're a family. Literally, brothers, sisters, son, and nephew, spanning from Gen Z to Gen X, coming together to have a real, raw, and necessary conversations that impact the Black community. From music to politics to racial unrest to Black history. Come on, Juneteenth. Financial empowerment to health disparities. Nothing is off the table.
We're like a 12-in-1 shampoo.
We're like a Pantene.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, what was it? VO5.
VO5.
Wow.
So don't just watch, subscribe, drop a comment, and join the conversation. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because when we talk, we grow. When we move, we elevate. Let's get into it. First in, we got EVE. Next in, we got Chris. Next in, we got Shanah Dawn. Lift every voice and sing. Next in, we got Antoine. I am Kaya, and we are the Fam Bam. Thank you, ma'am. And today's topic of conversation was supposed to be straw. But somebody had a last straw of their own and went and filed a lawsuit against Tyler Perry. So how are we supposed to talk about straw and not talk about the lawsuit? It's just like, he was at the top of the game. Straw was at the top of the charts on Netflix. It was ranking #1. Now look, 260 million. So what should we tackle first? Should we tackle the movie first, or should we tackle the allegations? All right. Well, we're gonna cut to our news correspondent, Shanah Dawn, so that she can fill us in on the latest with.
So here is my thing. We got the announcement that now there's a suit. What I say is before we start to turn Tyler Perry into an episode of Game of Thrones to where, like he's got to walk down through the city, saying stone him. Before we go there, before the court of public opinion starts, I feel like let's hear the case first. Because as someone who works with people who are wrongfully convicted, they were wrongfully convicted because someone lied. So I just say before we start to do the thing we always do, let's wait to hear the facts of the case, because anyone, them in Georgia, can sue anyone. So before we go into all the stuff he ain't do or all the stuff he did, I say let's just pause on what we think.
In regards to that, I don't know if you saw the text messages. Did anybody see the text messages that were posted?
Yes.
If it was just, you know what? Let me say, based off of my opinion, like I said, maybe I was just having a slow moment or so, but I didn't really see where it was really like, harassment and all of the, I'm like, he's just talking. Like, it's not, or if he made like a little, like, I don't see what was the case in that. But like you said, we don't know all of the information, and it's just hard to come up with a good, thorough opinion when it just came out. So it's just like, ugh.
And I mean, let's be clear. I could take conversations I had with my ex, change the name in my phone to Tyler Perry, and you think I was texting Tyler Perry.
Period.
So
So
just
in the world of AI, you could do
exactly.
anything.
So again, I said
AI.
or we're like, stone him,
Like, and he got on social media and he just started singing. He just started like, I don't know.
Who started singing?
Tyler Perry, he was posting it and he was just like, he started doing a little sermon. He was just like, no weapon. Or like he was going in. Nobody saw that?
No.
It was today. I was just like, all right. Mm-hmm.
And if you saw the BET Awards, that's also something else we can discuss. He said, I have employed more people and more Black people, like the stuff he's done. So it's just like, I find it, to me, it's always the like timing.
Yeah.
Of it. Like Straw is the biggest on Netflix. He says this thing on the BET Awards, and now this. Again, I'm not saying it's true or it's not. I'm just saying for me, it's always about timing.
Especially after so many, especially women lately, are having all of these interviews talking highly of him and everything. But then the most disrespected person in America is a Black woman. So is that even credible to even say? But I don't know. Like I said, it's just hopefully everything plays out. And if there was any malicious thought, anything behind, trying to sue him or so, I hope justice is served.
I mean, it's still early, like everybody said, it just came out. So, I mean, what is there to kind of have an opinion on? I mean, considering the accusation, being attached to SA is never a good thing, you know what I mean? So, I mean, considering the attachment to it, it's something to be, wary of as someone who's a potential or has been a fan of Tyler Perry, So for those people, I would, be wary of it, but I wouldn't marry yourself to, an opinion right now, considering how fresh it is.
Right.
I agree with everyone. It's too early, honestly, to even say anything. From the text message, it just felt like Tyler Perry likes to dabble both ways, and he just tried to test the waters, and it didn't hit. So he just moved on to being friends, and hey, this is just my friend. But I didn't really see nothing too like over the edge. It's more like he's telling his friend, since you don't want to try with me, at least try to get some, make your life better. But that's what I got.
Yo, you trying to rationalize freakiness is mad funny, bro.
Yeah.
I not to laugh.
Yo, he said, he tried to dabble both ways. It ain't
And it
hit.
didn't hit. So My question is this. My question is this because it says that Dixon is seeking $260 million. Derek Dixon is the guy seeking $260 million in a complaint for quid pro quo workplace sexual harassment, assault, and battery. Now, I'm not sure Chris is weak. I'm not sure.
Because he's a primary target with a name like that. I mean, come on, bro.
Derek Dixon. Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Double
Now,
D in the
it's
building, bro.
always been speculated within our community, and I'm going to say within our community, whether or not Tyler was heterosexual or bisexual. As we know, he had a son, and him and his longtime girlfriend, who was the producer of the documentary that he did on Prime, they broke up. But the question is, what's the going rate now for battery? 260 million? Because
what do you mean by that question?
No, I'm just saying, because if you feel that you've been wronged by someone, because how much did Cassie get from Diddy?
But that
was it 3 million?
Filed a civil suit.
Civil suit, yeah.
I'm thinking if I am ever if anyone is ever assaulted, my first thing is the criminal. I'm going
yes.
that.
Yes.
Like, your funds cannot take away the fact that
the hurt, the pain, the violation.
So I want you to pay with your life in prison for doing that. Yes, 260 million, which I doubt if it is true, he's not getting 200.
You got to shoot for the stars so you can get at least the top of the Empire State.
50.
At least 75 mil, you know?
So, but that's just me. I'm thinking that's how I want you to pay. Because then what? Financially, I'm paid, but then this person is still out to do this.
To someone else.
So I'm just like, no, I want to stop you.
But I feel like everybody got their own price, you know? Some people got a price, like.
But then what about if this is a Jesse Smouye situation?
Mm-hmm.
Then this messes up that whole paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of who do you believe, or you know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying, it's too early.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely too early. Mm-hmm. But my thing is this. Obviously, anybody that knows my mom, they know that she is a top. My husband called me today. He was just like, I'm gonna buy Mumsy some flowers. I was just like, wow, what happened? He was just like, because of this Tyler Perry thing, I just need her to I just want to make her feel better. I was like, you're dumb. But the fact that she has loved him ever since she saw Medea's family reunion. Mm-hmm. And I think we all have. Mm-hmm. I mean, with the exception of Chris.
The play. Let's be clear.
Yes, the play.
Yes, the play.
Not the movie.
The short dude?
Yeah.
But she likens him to the short dude? AJ?
Antoine, you never saw the play?
But she likens him to AJ? What is it that you do for me? That's him?
What is it that I do for you?
Him?
What you do for me?
That's the origin of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
back then, that play was so hilarious because there was nothing out like it.
Right. But you gotta remember
that was the beginning of Brown
Circuit.
That's what you used to watch every time after church when company come over.
There was this long break of Black people not going to the theater. And then here comes this Tyler Perry guy, and he's bringing the chitless circuit back to Black people. So it was like something that had not been for a long time. So then it was just like, we need to see this. And Chris, we went to see about 4 or 5 of them live, and Chris was only like 10. So I just think that the reason why people like my mom is such a fan is because it was something that people didn't have, and it just made them feel good. So you can, even with all the stuff that's in the world and the bills ain't paid and this is going on, you still had this to come home to and watch on the bootleg DVD and laugh. Cause I mean,
$5.
let's be real, we all bootleg
Tyler in
all
the
Tyler
beginning.
Perry
That
plays in the
$5
beginning.
DVD,
We
baby,
bootleg, we
that they were
bootleg,
selling on the train
we
in
bootleg
Brooklyn.
We
Tyler
all
Perry in the
bootleg
beginning.
Tyler.
You could fit
And
We
that
all
we
did.
we
You
can
could
say
fit
it
that
now, but
DVD
even with the
cover under the
bootleg,
door, bro.
Tyler has still amassed himself to be a billionaire, even after all of the bootlegs, because there is not just Black people now that love him. You have, because you have people from the South that, or from Middle America that see themselves in Medea or somebody in the family, or maybe Brown. You know what I'm saying? And even with that, because Tyler has gotten flack from people like Spike Lee, a lot of mainstream directors, writers, producers, they feel that was bad for the culture, but they didn't understand. They felt that he was bad for the culture. However, Tyler Perry has done so much for people, even the things that we don't know about. Yes, we know that he flew Whitney's body from LA to Newark when she passed away. Yes, we know he was paying for this, and he tried to get Bobby Christina into acting, so that after Whitney passed away, he paid the layaway for all of the Walmart people for Christmas. So paid off everybody's layaway so they can get all of their stuff for Christmas.
Meghan Markle and her husband, the prince, lived at
his house. And he paid for their security.
godparent.
Yes, he's the godparent of the little girl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's just a small amount, but he employs so many Black people, and he's given like people like DeVale and Kadeen, and he's given, careers to people, and people don't really like that. Now, I'm not saying he a gold digger, but it seems like the only people that are at the forefront of the news now are all Black folks. And we know for a fact that there are white and others in the business that are as demonic as they
are predators.
That are predators.
They're predators.
But yet their stuff doesn't seem to hit page 6. We got R. Kelly at the top of the news right now. We got Diddy at the top of the news right now. And now Tyler.
But I think this conversation is what I'm not going to say what the game plan is, but that's the expectation, right? What you're saying is 100% correct. Everything you're saying is 100% correct. But again, it's beating that dead horse over and over again. You know that the people that we know are predators will never get or be held accountable for the same things. We know that. So why continue to say, oh, keep the same playing field? We know that's not the case. If that's the expectation, then we move accordingly, right? What we
So this
should
this
be
this this
concerning
this is
ourselves
the
with.
this is the thing, because obviously we already, like you said, we know that this is the game, right? And we know that clearly there is a secret society. I think Diddy's trial has shown us that, right? However, how rich do you have to be to avoid scandal? Because Tyler is got more bank than a lot of these predators, but they ain't being. And Tyler's in billionaire status. They may be hundreds of millionaire status. So how rich do you have to be?
But what you're
Tyler
saying,
is
what you're saying is one dimensional. You're just talking about a monetary aspect, right? What you've been speaking about is Tyler's cultural impact, right? And as Black people, we are habitually and have been historically known, right, to champion individuals. You take down an individual, you stop the movement, or you stop the energy in that realm, right? Historically. So they know if you take down Cosby, if you take down Kells, if you take down Diddy, if you take down Tyler Perry, right? That's going to affect the energy in the culture, which will stop any momentum that we have, right? It's not just monetary. That's a very one-dimensional way of looking at that, right? It's not a monetary thing. It's
Because
strategic.
if you think of Tyler at his studio, think about all the people that he employs, aside from those who are in front of the screen. We're talking about the admins, the tour guides, and I'm talking about those people. Think about all of those people who employs. Now think about all the films that are filmed there. They film all of the Marvel stuff there. They filmed a lot of things there. So if what Chris just said, if you take off the head, now then where will everyone go?
And we put so much faith in or lean so heavily into big names.
Mm-hmm.
Think about every name I just mentioned. They're all entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You're talking about, oh, they do so much for the community and this people. What about the people in the actual communities that you live in? The local lobbyists, the people that have the small businesses that are directly contributing to your everyday life, right? But
yeah,
once
of course.
Cosby goes down,
That needs not to be said. We already know
no, but
that.
here's the thing. But you're saying it needs not to be said, right? So
But
why are we
that's
sitting here
you.
talking about the
But that's
same
you.
thing that we already expect? Why does that need not to be said? But yet we have to talk about um 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 R. Kelly and Tyler Perry. Why does that need not to be said? But we're having a full blown 2 hour conversation.
No, meaning when I say it need not to be said, meaning that because of the fact that these people, obviously the everyday mom and pop shop and the everyday lobbyist or senator or congressman or councilman or whomever in the community that's doing the work, obviously we know that they are boots on the ground, pun intended.
We don't. We do. But if we're having a conversation about we as in a people, we do not. And you know that. We do not. You know this is this. You know this. You know these statistics about how quick a dollar leaves the Black community. You know this is these statistics. Pardon me, right? You know that.
Yes.
So again,
Yes,
why
we
do
do.
these things need not to be said? Personally, I don't care about Tyler Perry. I don't.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
Because
I knew
you
that
know,
statement was
like
coming.
it's a pointless conversation.
No, it's not a pointless conversation because it needs to be had.
How does it need? Why does it need to be had? Look at your
Because
voting. Why does it need to be
there
had?
has to be. Listen, it's
He's
Juneteenth.
making billions of dollars. We know nothing about that. We have no concept of that.
It's Juneteenth.
He has his own problems, and I don't care. Personally, we don't know
That's
what
not
$10
nice.
billion conceptually even feels like.
I can
$10 billion
conceptualize.
of them.
I can conceptualize. Lord.
Like
Yo, he's
$3,000
dealing. Yo,
a
yeah.
second.
He's dealing with stuff. He's dealing with essay allegations.
What'd you
He's
say,
dealing with private jet
Antoine?
tomorrow, bro.
That's like $3,000 a second.
You feel me?
You
Yo,
know
he's
what I'm
dealing with
saying?
essay allegations. He can hop on a private jet tomorrow. even
And
with
do
the
it
allocation.
Russell. Do it
And go to
Russell.
Bali with Russell. Yup, and go to Bali.
Yeah.
So why
I
are
say we
sitting
all
here
move to
talking about
Bali.
him?
Let's go.
But we sitting here talking about him.
We're talking about him because we wanted to talk about the movie Straw.
So let's talk about Straw.
I'm gonna say one thing. I'm gonna say two things. Two hot takes.
Go ahead.
My first hot take is basically I don't get mad anymore with all these allegations because I know once you get to a certain status, you got to get your hands dirty to get to the next level. So, with that being said, I'm going to believe everything, even if it's not true, because of the fact that I know they have to get their hands dirty in some way. Maybe it's not on this finger, but on the next hand, it might be dirty. So, it is what it is. And then my second hot take,
I'm sorry. I gotta push back on that part only because
It's Tyler
again,
Perry.
I'm sorry. I gotta work.
It's because it's Tyler Perry.
No. I'm saying because he said he's going to believe it. So, and I'm just saying, as someone who has seen people serve decades in prison because someone lied, I just want us to be extremely mindful
When I
that
say that,
make sure that we understand the facts. So
when I say that,
that's
I'm
all
talking
I'm
about
saying.
celebrities. When I talk
Okay.
about someone that's making
Okay.
over 500 million, look, he's a billionaire. So
Oh
where
yeah.
I see it, me personally, I'm not a billionaire because I know I have morality and integrity, and I won't cross certain lines. He a billionaire, so I know for a fact he crossed a lot of lines to get to that point. And let's be real, at some point, every dog have his day. So if you're gonna, you know, like I said, he tested the water. He said, "Let me see if I can."
So are
Oh, it
you
didn't work.
saying that the only way, so you're saying that the only way for you to amass a certain amount of wealth is for you to cross evil or criminal lines?
I won't say criminal because
Ethical.
thank you. That's the word I'm looking for.
Ethical.
Criminal, yeah, because crimes, some things we may ethically say that's a crime, but in all retrospect, there's no laws behind it. So
Well, I'm
that's
talking
what
about stuff that's illegal.
So minus
But what do you consider
illegality, right?
illegal?
Think
Right.
about your
SA.
religion. Hold on. Think about your religion, right? Think about your religion, right? I'm almost positive that there are certain things within the guidelines and dogmas of certain religions, right, that will keep a certain person or will keep people from amassing a certain amount of money because it will conflict, right, with those
With
ethical
their
principles,
beliefs.
right? So there's no such thing to me as an ethical $1 billion.
Yeah, same. Unless
No
no,
such thing.
wrong.
For an
Unless you
individual
live,
person.
unless you live in Dubai, in my opinion, when they have nothing but oil, they don't really have to
No, well,
do something evil because
all
this is
resources.
resources. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
Yeah.
talking about from America, from a Western standpoint.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they did some things. Like, you get what I'm saying? There's places in California where, you look on a map, you zoom in, it's like a giant owl, and people do rituals and stuff like that, and it's just like cool. Even Scientology, if y'all believe in that, I feel like that's another, like, once you get past a certain threshold, you got some money.
I mean, I'm not into the whole conspiracy thing. I just believe that once you make a certain
I'm
amount
trying to
of money,
figure out where this owl is at.
no, but I'm just saying, like, once you make a certain amount of money, right? The beauty in life is being able to progress towards something, right? Being able to say, all right, in a week, I'm gonna save up for this, right? I want to get this. Once you have it, you feel accomplished that you have it, right? Working hard towards something. If you have everything already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think about the mind state that you're in if you have nothing to work towards at that point. Think about the
Well,
people that you're around at that point, right? If you have
I
$1 billion,
disagree.
you don't even know how to spend $1 billion.
I disagree because you know why? With that being said, there's some people that I'll say, because we all mammals, we all have an addictive personality trait. Some people
Addictive?
use. Yeah, addictive. That's true.
That's false information. I wouldn't say that.
We don't.
You don't have an inherently
Is
addictive personality trait.
yes,
Do not.
addiction doesn't have to be like your. I don't want to say drugs, but it can be. You could binge and watch TV all day. You can. It's subjective. So at the end of the day, we all have something that you want to say that we're working towards. There's some people like if they say my goal is 500 million, they get 500 million. They're like, I want a billion. Now after the billion, they want 2 billion, 3, 4, and continuing. So
Okay, but
with
you're
that
just
being
talking
said,
money. Again, that's one dimensional. Think about relationships now.
but we're talking about
We're talking
celebrities.
about
We're talking about
ethics.
celebrities. No, we're talking about celebrities.
Right,
We're talking about
celebrities. Yes, correct. Celebrities that are making billions of dollars, millions of dollars, right? The point of the conversation was, or rather, the locus of the conversation was centered around ethics, right? And I said that ethics change once the amount of money that you have changes, right? We agreed on that, literally, like
Okay.
35 seconds ago, right?
But
Your ethics
still, at the
change
end,
once the amount of money you have changes. We agreed
but
on that.
at
But
the
you
end of the
know what?
day,
Give me the ability to turn it down. You know.
right. And some people don't turn it down. You know, they do that one thing, and now they got to continue carrying on something that they said. You know, look how many times people say I made a mistake. I should never have went to this. I'm talking about celebrity wise, and I'm not saying names, so I'm going to keep this anonymous. And allegedly, this is what they stated that they went to certain stuff and they wish they turned certain things down. Yes, at the moment they got the pay increase that they wanted, but at the cost of their own ethics, they felt empty with having all of that. So
I'll give you a little nugget. You want to know the reason why I wanted to do a family show? Because if you're with your family, with however you rise, there's a level of bitch, sit your ass down when you're with your family. But if you're doing it by yourself, then you have the yes sirs and the yes ma'ams behind you talk about, yeah, you wear that. Oh, yeah, you want it? Okay, let's do that. Yeah, go ahead, girl. But when you're with your family, you have a level of truth. Exactly. You have a level of truth. You have a level of keeping you grounded that it's just like, you know what? I think I am going to go sit down. And, you know, you just go sit down and you in time out for a little bit and then you just come back swinging. But if you do it, I think if you do it with good intentions, number one, and you have people around you that are like-minded and they not going to let you fall, and you kind of encase yourself with that type of spirit, I think that you may not get to the billion, but you can get to a level of where you're comfortable and you did it the right way.
Of
it's going to take a
course,
lot of time, though. It's going to take a
course.
lot of time.
But that's different from
Exactly.
the type of money that we talk about in the context that we talk about. We're talking about one person amassing that wealth. We're not talking about an organization that.
Think about the Jackson 5.
What is how? What? Huh?
Dancing, dancing, dancing.
Or even like the Wayans brothers. Well, the Wayans.
Yes, the Wayans family.
That's a great example.
Production.
That's
Great
a great
example.
That's
Yes.
a great example. That's not like Jeff Bezos.
For sure.
It's very different.
But when you think about even like Jeff Bezos and
Elon.
yeah, they still got their hands dirty. They still did something unethical to get to the point that they are, and they still do it to this day
I
because
was
they're still
going to say,
maintaining.
let's just say they're still doing
Allegedly.
It's
Yeah.
not-
No, they
Allegedly,
doing
allegedly.
it.
No, allegedly.
They doing
Allegedly.
it. OJ did it.
I
They doing
look.
We could sit here and speculate what they did all day. We don't know. We ain't in the rooms because we don't know those realms.
Right. True.
We just know, or we can say that getting to that amount of money is unethical in our principle paradigm, right? Whatever we consider our principles to be in our belief system, to get to that amount of money for one person, right? More than likely is going to be somewhere along the lines you're going to do something unethical. that's going to conflict with your belief system. May not have to be some criminal, may not have to be some nasty, but it may conflict with your belief system, right?
Okay, we can stay there. We can stay there, and we could all agree on that. What's your, oh yes, finish your hot take. My bad.
I've never seen a Tyler Perry Broadway show.
Not Broadway.
Oh, whatever.
He ain't never
Not-
been
not
on Broadway.
Broadway. Not Broadway.
Whatever.
They never saw a Tyler Perry play.
Whatever.
He was at Radio City though. That was huge.
Yeah.
He was at Radio City. We did that. We saw that one. Don't miss part 2 of the Melanin Movement podcast. I think what we all seem to have right now, even though this is our first show back, is fatigue. I think that we are a family full of fatigue.
I don't want to talk about
F.
Diddy. I don't want to talk about the war. I just like I know it's there. The protest,
It's exhausting.